The story opens in a cafe hidden deep in the woods, where a young woman named Mallory Kane is seated alone. After some time, a man named Aaron approaches her and tries to convince her to leave with him. Mallory refuses, firmly saying she won't go. Frustrated by her answer, Aaron attacks her and quickly gains the upper hand, overpowering her in the struggle. The customers in the cafe notice what is happening, and one of them steps in to restrain Aaron. Taking advantage of this, Mallory rises and begins fighting back fiercely, striking Aaron until she breaks his bones. During the commotion, she notices a young man named Scott, who helps her out of the cafe. The two rush to his car and flee the scene. While driving away, Scott asks her who Aaron is and why he tried to kill her. Curious and concerned, he presses her for answers. Mallory finally reveals that she works for a covert organization that functions as a secret spy agency. The agency is tasked with carrying out off-the-books operations for the government, handling jobs that the authorities cannot be publicly linked to. The narrative then shifts into a flashback that explores Mallory's past with the organization. At the head of the agency is a director named Kenneth. Two government representatives, Alex Goblin and Rodrigo, meet with Kenneth and assign him an urgent mission. They explain that a reporter in Barcelona, a man named Jiang, must be extracted and brought back safely at any cost. Kenneth accepts the assignment and assembles a small team, placing Aaron in charge while including Mallory as a member. The group soon travels to Barcelona, where they discover that Jiang has been kidnapped. As they search, Mallory tracks him down to a motel. Inside, she locates Jiang and rescues him, but as they leave, an armed man suddenly opens fire on her. Realizing he is working alone, Mallory chases him down the street. Knowing that capture would mean his death, the gunman runs desperately, but Mallory pursues relentlessly until she catches and beats him. With Jiang now safe, the team delivers him to the officials. Later that night, while Mallory is at home, Aaron visits her and questions why she pursued the gunman when they already had Jiang. Mallory explains that she never leaves behind any loose ends or evidence, which is why she killed the attacker. Aaron asks her about her intentions and what she truly wants. Mallory reveals that she has resigned from the agency and no longer wishes to live that life, choosing instead to focus on her own future. Time passes, and she begins living quietly in San Diego. One day, after stepping out of the bathroom, her doorbell rings. Alarmed, she checks the peephole and finds Kenneth at the door. She lets him inside, and during their conversation it becomes clear that the two once shared a romantic relationship before she left both him and the agency behind. Kenneth tells her about a highly dangerous mission he wants her to take part in, but Mallory insists she has moved on and is finally living the peaceful life she always wanted. Kenneth argues that MI6 has handed them the mission and that she is the only person he can rely on. After some hesitation, Mallory agrees to listen. Kenneth explains the task. A man named Strutter has long been on MI6's radar. An agent named Paul has located Strutter and is preparing to negotiate with him, providing the perfect chance for an arrest. Kenneth wants Mallory to accompany Paul while posing as his wife. He gives her a piece of jewelry, instructing her to wear it so Paul can recognize her. After reviewing Paul's picture, Mallory sets off, fully prepared, and arrives in Dublin. There, she meets Paul, who immediately recognizes her by the jewelry. They act like a married couple and head to their hotel. While Paul showers, Mallory secretly searches his belongings, plants a GPS tracker in his phone, and takes precautions, since she trusts no one. When she later showers, Paul does the same and rifles through her things, even pocketing her jewelry, showing that neither trusts the other. That evening, the pair attend a lavish party where they expect to encounter Strutter. Inside, Mallory notices a man who recognizes her and reacts uneasily. Soon, Strutter appears, greets them, and even invites them on a vacation. After he departs, Paul instructs Mallory to follow the suspicious man while he tails Strutter. As she follows, Mallory grows suspicious of Paul. Looking back, she sees him in conversation with Strutter, apparently negotiating some sort of deal. Still trailing the man, she reaches a room and discovers a corpse. To her horror, the body is Jiang, the very reporter she once saved in Barcelona. Shocked, she realizes Paul must have murdered him. Then she notices Jiang wearing the jewelry Kenneth gave her. Mallory recalls that she had worn it at the airport, meaning the surveillance footage would link her to Jiang's corpse, framing her for the murder. Furious but hiding her emotions, she returns to the hotel with Paul, pretending nothing is wrong. Paul, however, suspects she might have uncovered the truth. Inside their room, Paul attacks her. Although he initially overpowers her, Mallory fights back, eventually killing him. Afterward, she realizes Paul couldn't have orchestrated everything alone. She calls Kenneth using Paul's phone and immediately understands from his responses that Kenneth himself is behind the conspiracy. Ever since she resigned, Kenneth has wanted her eliminated because she knows too many secrets. Now, he has set her up to take the fall for Jiang's murder. Forced to flee, Mallory disguises herself and calls her father, using a coded message to alert him that she is in danger. Soon, she notices men following her, discovers a tracker hidden in her bag, and realizes Paul planted it. To evade her pursuers, she ducks into a shop and slips out, but soon even the police are chasing her. She escapes across rooftops, injuring herself in a fall, but finally shakes them off. Seeking answers, Mallory contacts Rodrigo, reminding him that she had personally handed Jiang over to him. She demands to know how Jiang's body ended up in Dublin. Instead of explaining, Rodrigo hangs up and reports her call to Alex. Alex advises him to remain calm, suggesting Mallory might come to him. Then Alex directly contacts Mallory, telling her that Jiang is dead and Kenneth is responsible. He admits he long suspected Kenneth of working with outsiders on a bigger scheme. Alex urges her to do what she does best, confront Kenneth and uncover the truth. He arranges a meeting for her with Kenneth at the same cafe from the beginning. However, Aaron shows up instead, sparking another brutal fight. Mallory kills him and escapes with Scott. When Scott learns the whole story, he panics, saying he is just an ordinary man who never asked for this. Mallory reassures him, but their escape is cut off by police roadblocks. A chase ensues through a snowy forest until their car collides with a deer and crashes into a tree, leaving them unable to flee further. Captured by police, they are transported in custody. Over the radio, news arrives that the FBI will soon take charge of Mallory, but she warns the officers that these so-called FBI agents are imposters who will kill them all. The police dismiss her warning and proceed, only to be ambushed in a massacre exactly as she predicted. Amid the chaos, Mallory frees herself, retrieves a gun, and fights back, eliminating the attackers. She and Scott escape in a police car. Scott, terrified, begs not to die. Meanwhile, Alex confronts Kenneth, accusing him of sending Aaron instead of meeting Mallory as planned, thereby ruining everything. Alex suggests using Mallory's father as bait to capture her. Soon, Mallory herself reaches her father and warns him that Kenneth's men will arrive, spinning lies about her. She instructs him to pretend to believe them, but to trust her instead. That night, Kenneth arrives at her father's home with Aaron. He accuses Mallory of betrayal, claiming she killed Paul in Dublin, murdered police, and kidnapped Scott as a hostage. Aaron begins to doubt Kenneth's story, remembering that Scott went with Mallory willingly. Mallory's father defends his daughter, saying she is incapable of such crimes. Right then, Mallory calls Kenneth's phone and demands answers about his alliance with Strutter and Jiang's death. Aaron traces the call and confirms her presence nearby. Kenneth orders his men to hunt her down, but Aaron privately confronts him, pressing for the truth. Mallory then sends Aaron a photo of Jiang's corpse, enraging him. A fight breaks out between Aaron and Kenneth. Kenneth shoots Aaron, while Mallory battles Kenneth's men. After killing them, she finds Aaron gravely wounded. With his dying breath, He confesses that he was misled into believing she was a traitor, apologizes, and dies. Heartbroken, Mallory recalls the tender relationship they once shared. Determined to end everything, she goes to Alex and reports Kenneth's betrayal. Alex tells her that Scott has been released and gives her Kenneth's location, urging her to kill him. Mallory agrees, though she makes no promises about continuing to work for Alex. She tracks Kenneth down, leading to a vicious final showdown. Both sustain heavy blows, but Mallory eventually gains the upper hand and defeats him. Before dying, Kenneth reveals the entire conspiracy. Strutter, a wealthy businessman, feared John's reports exposing his illegal dealings. Rodrigo approached Strutter with a plan. Kenneth had an elite operative, Mallory, who wanted out. By sending her to rescue Jiang, they could arrange both Jiang's death and Mallory's elimination in one move, satisfying everyone. Kenneth also struck a deal with Paul from MI6 to finish the job. Mallory refuses to grant him a quick death, leaving him crippled and drowning in agony. Finally, Rodrigo, unaware that Mallory lives, relaxes on vacation. But she tracks him down, confronts him at his holiday home, and kills him.